Look at the UVTV, motherfucker. I'm gonna kick spiritual ass and dudes for my people. On God. Neon nigga for Featherman, yeah. And today I'm gonna be talking about what happens when you don't balance your oppositions in astrology, Aries through Pisces. So where you are bipolar. So being your own worst enemy, antagonist, Satan / demon, or you just being bipolar, aka opposite extremes. So when it comes to your oppositions in astrology and stuff like that, it's opposing you, right? So it's like a rival or like an adversary. It's someone who is the complete opposite of you, completely going against what you got going on. They got the same abilities that you got and stuff like that, and y'all starting to fight, friction, conflict, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So like y'all both getting into it. But these are like internal energies. We talking about astrology. So from it being a more eternal energy, these are just oppositions and angles, aka angels and stuff like that, that you are hitting within yourself, and you're trying to find out how to go through that angle or that angel and how you can rise above that occasion, or you know what I'm saying, you end up going through a depth, or you going through a tower moment, if this was like tarot readings and stuff like that. Oh, you end up going through the cataclysm, you end up going through it having power control and taking over you instead of you influencing the aspects and the influences and stuff like that, so you can, you know what I'm saying, learn from your mistakes and have a better day, and you can rise to the occasion and stuff like that. So based upon that setback, I said setback, based upon that setback and stuff like that, you was able to come back again, or revitalize something again, or be born again, or like, you know what I'm saying, there's different metaphors and allegories to make it make sense. So in a nutshell, I'm gonna just make it really simple. I'm just gonna talk about the signs, Aries through Pisces, and then you can apply that to whatever planet or whatever asteroid or whenever, you know what I'm saying, North Node, Lilith, whatever, you know what I'm saying, like for whatever thing you're trying to apply it to, so you can simply understand it based upon the different signs and the angles and stuff like that. And then whatever you have in your chart, when it comes to those aspects and those oppositions, those are the things that are making you be bipolar. And I'm trying to explain what happens when you don't try to balance it, because considering it's opposition, it's like a you versus you type of energy, you know what I'm saying? It's you going against a Satan, an opposer, an adversary, a Satan, a demon and stuff like that, a descending nature and stuff like that. You got this one energy going against the other energy, and it completely opposes it. It matches the same energy and stuff like that. So like y'all gonna fight, and it's gonna be a big ass Goku versus Frieza going on for 30 goddamn episodes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like causing all type of death, destruction, all type of shit, because they both, you know what I'm saying, equally matched and stuff like that. Like they both goddamn abilities is basically at the same power level type shit. So it's like, oh yeah, who gonna get the upper hand because of this, that, and the third. So once you learn how to balance that, look at that as you having some type of equilibrium. So from you having some type of equilibrium and you balancing it, it's like a peace treaty. You making peace with your enemy. So y'all just with the war for how many years, you know what I'm saying, 3, 5, 10, 15 years and stuff like that. Peace treaty, the blood that got shed, oh, we able to put it all behind us. Okay, we cool now. So it's like a truce treaty and stuff like that. So you was able to make friends or make peace with your adversary, and through the death and destruction in the war and stuff like that, you learn different capabilities and abilities through that. So it was a learning experience. So you able to balance out these energies better, so you don't come off too extreme, and you're able to, you know what I'm saying, if you're actually dealing with the opposite energy and stuff like that, it's not going to be a thing that opposes you and it starts to overwhelm you. No, you're able to make peace with it. You're able to make it more balanced, and you're able to make it more stable, even if it's something that's opposing you. For the most part, you don't feel that energy of it opposing you. And then even if it were to get go there and stuff like that, you was able to peacefully resolve whatever it was. And then they have certain things and energies and competitive energies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like friendly competition. They have certain things and abilities that you can pick up, so you can be a better opponent for next time. So you can get a better opponent to make it so you keep on going up when it comes to the ranks and stuff like that. And then now y'all can be cool because it was a versus. It was like a versus match, and then we see who won or who had a better ability and stuff like that, or ends up becoming like a tie, a truce, a peace treaty or whatever and stuff like that, to make it more relatable, to where we don't have to be on unequal grounding and things of that nature. Oh, we don't have to face each other, and I got certain things that I got that help me, and you got certain things that you got that help you, and then we can learn from each other type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when it comes to the different aspects, because I know that they be looking at oppositions and like in conjunctions and like squares and stuff like that. They be looking at that as like harmful aspects and stuff like that, when in reality these are like learning processes. Well, squares is literally learning processes. So these are like things you can learn. You know what I'm saying? It's like hidden gems. Like it's like a hidden gem, because too much of a good thing could end up being bad. So y'all get lost into the sextiles, aka the opportunities, the trons, aka the gifts, the talent, the abilities you can gain from being in sync when it comes to the tron, the trinity, and stuff like that. Like, y'all be getting too lost into the positive, expansive, good type of energies to make you feel good, instead of actually trying to feel bad, or, you know what I'm saying, you going through some type of pain or like strife, but you ain't trying to gain some type of know-how when it actually comes to that down moment, because life in general is about change. It's about going through the ups and the downs. Y'all be trying to stay on that high of that up, and in the minute you ain't on that high no more and stuff like that, you end up having to overcompensate, because now it's not in that high no more, it's not in that peak no more, it's not in that prime no more, and in the minute it started to go down, you ain't gonna know what to do and stuff like that, because you were so used to being in that high position, you don't even know how to make it more balanced when you start going through the lows and stuff like that, to stay productive, stay creative, stay in that same space, stay consistent and stuff like that. And then it's gonna start turning into, oh, okay, you went from going to the esoteric drugstore to give you more healthier, productive, creative abilities and stuff like that, to you taking actual sedatives and actual substances and actual drugs and stuff like that, because you lack that substance naturally and organically, and now you gotta pill pop, now you gotta, you know what I'm saying, take that heroin, or you gotta take that crack, that cocaine, but like actually like in reality, because you lack it spiritually. You get what I'm saying? You lack that mental resilience and strength mentally and spiritually, so now you actually need the physical thing just so you could function and wake up in the morning and stuff like that, instead of you actually trying to naturally produce those vitamins. Oh, now you got to go to the store and go get that pill and actually go get that vitamin, because you lack that for your body and your organs, because you wasn't making no new organs, aka mentalities. You wasn't making new capabilities and abilities and new creative potentialities, and you acting out that potential and stuff like that. Now you getting lost into, oh, I can only act out this potential unless I got this mentality, or this way of feeling, or this expression, or this monetary gain, this money, this validation, this praise, this, you know what I'm saying? Like, so to make it really simple, because I had to say all that as a disclaimer. So just in general, right? When you don't deal with these oppositions, these are the things that make you end up being bipolar, which leads to what scientists and psychologists and stuff like that be calling actual people who are bipolar, because we know bipolar is a mental disorder or a mental illness and stuff like that. So they're just mentally disorganized, and from them having a mental illness, they're mentally sick in the mind. They're diseased. They're going through a death. They're dying. They're lacking sentience. They're lacking sexual intercourse within the mind, not actual physical sex, like men and women, masculine and feminine. That's ideas, which would be like men, feelings and emotions, which would be like women. So your Adams and your Eves, you lack sentience in the mind. You lack sexual intercourse in the mind, and things of that nature. So from you not making these things more lively, and you lack mental flexibility and mental exercises and stuff like that, all the way down to it replenishing into your organs to actually make you more motivated to do some physical type of exercise for your body and stuff like that, so you can feel good. You're not spiritually or mentally trying to make yourself feel good. You're not trying to gain more awarenesses or trying to pay attention to something, concentrate, focus, and then attract people to what you paying attention to. So look at that as like the frequency vibration. Men being walking frequencies, women being walking vibrations. You're not trying to frequently create a new vibe, a new emotion, a new way of dealing with that I did feeling an emotion, to make it more expansive and put it into a container and keep on going through that system over and over, internalizing, externalizing, as above, so below, as within, so without, and stuff like that. Expansion, contraction. Just in general, like you're not trying to expand it and then condense it, put it into a container, and then make the container even bigger by expanding it again. So look at that as externalizing, internalizing. You ain't going through that process. You getting stuck into one of the mechanisms, one of the processes. You want to expand, but want to keep on expanding, but you never put it into a container. So look at that as you never try to receive something from what you just externalize. You just want to keep on externalizing, but never receive no new information. You never, or like the other way around type shit. You always want to receive and be on the receiving end of something. So from you being on the receiving end of something, but you never try to perceive or have another expression, another perception of how to look at it, you just want to take on what you're already receiving. So that's like motherfuckers who caught into social norms, or you know what I'm saying, like societal norms, or like waves, or like trends. You get completely absorbed into it because you're going to take in what you're already receiving, and you just internalize it, and you don't try to expand it even bigger. And you're doing that on a, you know what I'm saying, you're doing it at all levels. You're doing it on a spiritual level, you're doing it on a mental level, and it makes you have that motivation to make it so you do that into the external world too. So it turns into you the type of archetype or the type of person to where you get lost into the external world instead of trying to deal with your internal natures and figure out who you are as an individual. The only way you could be an individual is unless it has something to do with the external world first. So you're on the receiving end of something. You never try to perceive and see the world and express in your own way and stuff like that. You can't be spontaneous. You always have to go based upon what the external world is doing and make sure it's feeling to a certain validation so you can get praise for it, or a certain societal norm. And then the minute you start feeling like, oh, I'm going against the grain, or I'm not trying to be like what everyone else is doing because of this and the third, you start feeling all unstable, insecure, when really you shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? You acting like some bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? You acting like some bitch. Like for real. Like, no, like for real though. Like, you're always taking things in, but you never trying to expand it. You never trying to express something. You never trying to perceive it another way. Or it turns into the other way around. Oh, you don't know how to deal with your internal issues. You don't know how to, you know what I'm saying, change your frame of mind. You don't know how to put yourself into a different space. You don't know how to pay attention to something else, so you don't keep on doing something that's based upon degeneracy, or something that's self-sabotaging, or something that's counterproductive, and things of that nature. But yeah, I wanted to say all that as a disclaimer. So I'm gonna get into the elements and the modality, the planet rulers and the houses, and like the season for each sign. But I'm going to explain the sentiment for each and every one. And then, like, all right, so boom, I'm going to start off with Aries and then Libra. I'm going to always do the opposite for each one, right? Like, I'm going to explain, because I'm going to do Aries first, right? But I'm going to explain the Aries one, but I'm not really going to go that deep about the opposite, the Libra one, until I get to that sign. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to do Taurus, but I'm not going to go that deep into the opposite of that, which will be Scorpio, until I get to that sign and stuff like that. So you can understand both polarities of how they do it on each thing. But just in general, right? These are the things when it comes to your oppositions in your chart for each of those signs. This is what makes you bipolar. You know what I'm saying? This is what makes you act on two opposite extremes and stuff like that. So you're going to overcompensate and extremely act in one way, or you're gonna extremely overcompensate and extremely act the other way. You know what I'm saying? So when you don't try to make it more balanced, and I could make a different video when it comes to making it balanced and stuff like that. Even though I feel like when I break it down, each one is kind of gonna be like common sense. Like what, like for me explaining what not to do, you like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do to make it more balanced, so I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. All right, but first one, Aries, having the first intent of being extremely selfish, which leads to you taking things too personally through anger, aggressiveness, and expressive intensity to show you don't need to relate or be relative to anybody. So from Aries being a cardinal fire sign, right? That's initiating, creating new ways when it comes to seeing and feeling. So fire signs, they like to look at things based upon foresight or like intuition. You know what I'm saying? They like seeing into the future for the most part. So from them seeing into the future or having some type of foresight, and it being an Aries, so it being part of the first house. So the first house deals with personality or personal issues, insecurities, affairs, how you personally go about something, right? People in your personal life. You know what I'm saying? Your own personal way of how you like to go about things, just in general. So from it being Aries, better supported by the first house, it's about putting yourself first. So if you putting yourself first, that's something when it comes to fresh type of energy, or something that's new, or you're trying to be ahead of your time. I'm just using different like terminologies of like the different ways of like the different characteristics to describe Aries that people like to throw in there, but I'm trying to explain the context to why people be saying stuff like that. Like, oh, pioneer, trailblazer. It's not to say that other signs can't do that, but the reason they put it towards Aries is because Aries is already in that archetype of, oh, they're gonna put themselves first. So from them putting themselves first, they always try to be ahead of the game. They come off more youthful. That's why y'all be saying shit like, oh, they're like the baby of the zodiac and stuff like that. But from them being in that perspective, they actually, spiritually speaking, put themselves first before all the other signs and stuff like that. You're actually supposed to act more Aries like. You're actually supposed to put yourself first. You're actually supposed to be more youthful. You're actually supposed to initiate and create new ways to see and feel when it comes to visions and your intuition and burning through reality and stuff like that, because that's fiery type of energy. So if it's fire, it's hot, it's spicy, it's enticing, it's you know what I'm saying, it's gonna burn through reality, it's gonna blaze, it don't like being in a certain shape and form and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you try to put it in a shape and form to where they feel like they can express themselves and stuff like that. They you know what I'm saying? They start acting real hot and spicy and volatile and high temperament and intense towards your ass to make you stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like all fire signs do that. It's just Aries do that into that particular way and stuff like that. They take it personally because they go based upon passions, motivations, which is the ruler sign Mars. Passions, motivation, separation, and intent. They go based upon the first intent. So that's why they come off so impulsive. That's why they come off so impulsive and volatile, just in general, when they start acting out into an extreme when it comes to that Aries-like nature, right? Because for each one, right, I really should explain this but during the disclaimers and stuff like that, right? For each sign, like Aries, the opposite sign is Libra, and then Taurus, the opposite sign is Scorpio, and then Gemini, the opposite sign is Sagittarius. Cancer, the opposite sign is Capricorn, right? Leo, the opposite sign is Aquarius. Virgo, the opposite sign is Pisces. For each opposite sign, they ground themselves on that energy, right? So, like Aries, their opposite is Libra. They do Libra shit. They ground themselves. They ground themselves on their opposite. That's why people be like, oh, their opposite sign, their sister sign. You know what I'm saying? They really do the same thing. They just do it in a different element. You know what I'm saying? They're the same modality, cardinal, initiating and creating, but it's a different element. They're utilizing a different element. So the same way how Aries is a cardinal fire sign, oh, Libra is a cardinal air sign. So they're sister signs or opposite signs. So Aries ground themselves on Libra shit to do the Aries shit. So they make it more above the horizon. Literally. Like you know what I'm saying? They make it above the horizon. And that's how they balance themselves out. They have to ground themselves on below the horizon shit when it comes to Libra energies so they can do the Aries energy. So they have to go based upon relationships, being relatable, being relative. So they can do initiating and creating new ways to see and feel when it comes to their personality, individuality, authenticity for their passions and their motivations and their first intent and stuff like that. So just in general, right, they all have to do the opposite to do that. So they ground themselves on the Libra shit to do the Aries shit. Now, based upon it being the opposite, when they don't balance out that opposing energy, this is the result of that. So they feel like, oh, I don't need that Libra shit. I don't need to be relatable. I don't need to be relative. I don't need anybody. I'ma just care about myself based upon the first intent. But that's what makes them impulsive and extremely selfish and aggressive, and they end up separating away from everybody so they can be in their own pocket because, you know what I'm saying, they like to be transformative and stuff like that, similar to Scorpio. We gonna get there though, right? They like to separate themselves from everyone else so they can lead a head charge of them putting themselves first and them feeling like, oh, I don't have to lower myself down away from my vision. This is how I see and feel about it, and if you don't see and feel about it in this way, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? If you're not passionate about the same thing I'm passionate about, I don't care. If you're not motivated the same way how I'm motivated, I don't care. If you ain't as action-oriented as I am, I don't give a fuck. If you don't got the individuality, if you don't got the the authenticity, if you don't got the spiritual nature, if you don't got the characteristic, if you don't got the mannerism, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the minute they put that Libra shit to the curve, it's just straight, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why they come off like that. And they'll get real volatile towards your ass and impulsive towards your ass if you try to make them do it in any other shape and form, because they're a fire sign. They don't like being in no shape and form. They like seeing and feeling in that certain way of expression, and they don't like being in a spiritual mental cage. So the minute they start being in that no fucks given type of energy, that's when they start to overcompensate. In general, they're overcompensating for the fact of they're not trying to be relatable. And that's the same thing for every single one. From them acting out in an extreme, they act over extreme in whatever you know what I'm saying, sign it is, archetype that it is, right? So they act like the Aries, they act extremely selfish, they act extremely passionate, they act extremely going off first intent, they act extremely separate, they act extremely visionary and like extremely intuitive, because they're overcompensating for something. They feel like, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of like a point to prove type of energy. But like, the only reason you're in that point to prove is because you're not trying to like fall for grace or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't actually want to deal with what you're internally dealing with, which is you versus yourself. So it makes you act bipolar type shit. Like, you're only acting in that extreme because you're unbalanced. So you're overcompensating for the fact of you don't want to do the mental strength of what it takes to balance out that other side that you're unfamiliar with and stuff like that. And the thing that they ground themselves on is the Libra shit. But the minute they start acting out in an extreme of, I don't need that, that's the thing that they're overcompensating about. They feel like, I don't need that, when no, you do need that. You need that to ground yourself so you can keep going with the Aries shit. Otherwise, right, you end up being like a lower octave, underdeveloped ass Aries and stuff like that, who's super impulsive and super volatile and no one wants to be around them and stuff like that, and super selfish, and then they act like they don't need nobody when you do need people, because teamwork made a dream and stuff like that, because you ain't God and you ain't create the world and stuff like that. So get out your fucking ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just acting extreme. And then on top of that, it'll be like they'll act so volatile, and they end up scarring and burning their bridges and burning you and scorching you so bad. It's like a it's like a if I'm wrong I'm right, and if I'm right I'm wrong type of energy, where it'd be like they're not even gonna respect you unless you're willing to like go through the burning bridge, like go through the fire, go through the burning bridge, go through the highway to hell with them type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to go through all that fiery shit with them, and that's the only way they could respect it. Like it's gonna turn into, you have to be just as fiery or just as passionate or just as expressive, or like just as much as a crash out as them, for them to like respect the fact that you did that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. And then again, I'm talking about like the lower octave ones. Like, it's kind of like they want you to do that, and then if you still withstood all that scorched earth program they did on your ass, then it respects you, because they all like, oh damn, that nigga took on all that tight shit. Man, this motherfucker must be cold, and this motherfucker must be, because this motherfucker took all that shit, and he's still trying to be around me. He's still trying to relate because of this, that, and third. But I'm gonna get to the next one though. But all right, so boom. So next one, Libra, being an extreme people pleaser, which leads to you being unbalanced overall through validation issues, lying, and relying on lovable charm instead of individuality and authenticity. So from Libra being a cardinal air sign, they like to initiate and create new ways when it comes to thinking and communicating, and it's an autumn fall type sign and stuff like that. So it's like falling from grace. It's the same way with the leaves. They're dying, they deteriorate and stuff like that. So it's like right after harvest season, where you're supposed to harvest all those different energies and stuff like that, and then now in reality those things are starting to die and deteriorate, and then now you have to taking that shelter because things are starting to get colder and stuff like that, and then you trying to keep up that energy of being in a higher temperament, and motherfuckers gotta start wearing bubble coats and start wearing jackets because it's starting to get more chilly outside and windy and all that type shit, and it's starting to rain a lot more and things of that nature. So just in general, right, people be trying to be more balanced or find some type of fairness or security and stability while it's still going through that Libra season. So from things dying and deteriorating, so from it falling, like it's falling from grace and stuff like that, it's starting to mature. So from it maturing, it's starting to get old and outdated and stuff like that. And not outdated like it's a bad thing. I'm just using that as an example of, oh, yours in a youthful type of energy, which was Aries, and then now it's going to Libra. So from it going to Libra, now you're starting to grow up and go through adolescence and starting to mature, and now you know how to go through setbacks and downfalls and stuff like that, and learning how to get back up even though you're going through different downfalls and things of that nature. So from it dealing with all that type of energy, right, yeah, it leads to validation issues, lying, and relying on lovable charm instead of individuality and authenticity. So that's when they act out in extremes of, oh, I don't actually want to do something for myself. I don't actually want to put myself first. I'd rather put what other people are doing and support them, and I'll just be the background character and stuff like that. So it's like other motherfuckers who end up being the star representation where they can express their individuality and their abilities and their talents, and they rather just be the background person and the charmer type of person, or the most lovable, validating type of person, when it's in reality they really just lying to themselves. They want to be in that position, but they lying to themselves and trying to convince themselves, nah, I should just help out this person, and nah, I can help them, show them how to be more relatable and stuff like that. Oh yeah, this is a new trend. Oh yeah, this is a new thing to be into because of this, that, and the third. But in reality, no, you want to do that. Stuff like that. You're just putting yourself in the back burner and shit. So it's kind of like a somehow, some way, because they do be smart though, because it's still an air sign. They do be really intelligent. They be really smart. And then Saturn is exalted in Libra. So it's like they know how to deal with reality. They know how to structure themselves. You know what I'm saying? They know how to initiate and create new ways when it comes to thinking and communicating. But they use a lot of that intellect towards not putting themselves first. They put a lot of that intellect towards, I'm gonna make someone else be the individual and stuff like that. I'd rather just be like the best friend who's lovable and charming and relatable and stuff like that, who help that person get there and support them getting there, and then think of a whole bunch of different ways of how to talk and communicate how I help them, instead of you trying to talk and communicate how you gonna help yourself so you can be the relatable one for once, so you can be the one having relatability and stuff like that. But just in general, right, if you act out in that extreme, you start to give that energy away. So it's like you giving your power away. You give that energy away to things outside of you, or you not giving it to yourself because you would rather be in that relatable, loving type of position without realizing not everyone gonna like your dumb ass. You know what I'm saying? Like to be likable and to be one of a kind, that means, oh, it's gonna be another kind of way of how someone gonna approach you, which is the opposite. Oh, not being liked, or not everything you do is based upon love and light and goodness and stuff like that. Someone's gonna try to find a negative. Someone's gonna try to find something to not like about your ass and stuff like that. And they gonna point that out first. Oh, your ass got validation issues and stuff like that. Oh, you want everyone to love you and shit like that. Man, your ass really just be lying and stuff like that. You really just a charlatan and shit like that. Nah, you really ain't shit for real, because of this, that, and the third. And that's the thing they don't like. They don't like that you try so hard to be lovable and likable and charming and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? They make it real simple. So next, Taurus, overly trying to stabilize and be secure in things which are dead and deteriorating, aka beating a dead horse, due to being stubborn about change, transformation, and things being hidden from you that you're unaware about. So Taurus is a fixed earth sign, right? So if it's fixated, and then I'm talking about the opposite energy, I'm talking about the negative energies and stuff like that. So from it being a fixed sign, right, is going to lead to stubbornness. Now, the positive of that is, if you're fixated on it, you can turn that stubbornness into consistency. But we ain't talking about that right now. We talking about the negative end, and when you don't do that energy. So it turns into you being fixed and being really stubborn or stuck on it. So you're stuck on externalizing things based upon reality, So the external world and receiving something from it, because that's earth-like energy. You like to externalize things are part of the physical and external world, so you can receive something from it. And you can look at that as a monetary gain. You can look at that as money. You can look at that as you know what I'm saying, some type of physical item or present, or some type of luxury, or some type of material success, or like structuring your life when it comes to reality and stuff like that, or practical thinking. But you're receiving something from putting that into practice. You actually practicing that discipline. You building, you constructing, you grounding something, just in general. So from you grounding something is you materializing it. So that grounded, materializing type of energy, you end up overcompensating that, just in general. So you're overly trying to stabilize and be secure in something that's dead or deteriorated, aka beating a dead horse, like I was saying before, and you end up being stuck and being really trapped within it, stuck in your ways. All fixed signs do that. So the thing that makes you act out in the extreme where you don't try to balance it, aka the Scorpio type of energy, right? You don't like dealing with change, you don't like dealing with transformation, and you don't like dealing with the things that are distant and hidden from you or you're unaware about. So look at that as being in the dark and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like taboo type of things, hidden agendas, hidden motives, alternative motives and stuff like that. Things you're in the dark about, you're unaware about. You just want to be in that extreme of, because it's a springtime type of sign. So during the springtime, that's when you're germinating seeds and things start to bloom and things being flower and starting to bloom and things of that nature, right? And blossom. So you like to stay in that energy of heaven, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you like to be in like a spiritual heaven for the most part. You like to be in a spiritual springtime and stuff like that. So you like to germinate and plant seeds and stuff like that, right? But from you overacting into that extreme, right? You like to plant seeds about things that are already dead and deteriorating. So look at that as you don't got no good fertilizer. You plant that seed in bad soil and stuff like that. So it's not going to grow properly. So it's going to, you know what I'm saying? The minute it grows, it's going to grow all uneven or things of that nature. Or you grow it in an area where it's going to manifest specific plants like shit with thorns and stuff like that. Or, bro, what's that shit called? I'm thinking of a term like overforestation or some shit like that. Like, if y'all know what I'm talking about, where it be like there's too many different plants in that ecosystem, so it's starting to not produce certain fruits or certain plants because there's too many different types of plant species in that area, so they have to get rid of certain ones in that ecosystem just so the ones that they actually want to pluck from that are good, that's the only way they could grow. You have to get rid of some of the ones that are overpopulated, like it's over polluting the crops and stuff like that to make them not grow properly and all that type of shit. I forgot what it's called, but motherfuckers who garden and be all into agriculture and stuff like that. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But that's the thing they end up overcompensating about, right? They want to overly try to be stable. They're overly trying to be secure and stuff like that. But the only reason they're overcompensating of trying to be secure and stuff like that is because inside they feel like they're dead. Inside they feel like they're deteriorating and stuff like that. They know whatever thing they worrying about that they're paying attention to, because, man, I'm a Taurus Sun and Moon. So it's like it's a loyal to a fault type of energy. Man, you trying to be loyal to something that don't even give a fuck about you like that. You know what I'm saying? That person, place, or thing, they don't even give a fuck about you like that, but you keep being loyal to them. And you keep trying to be attached to your hip because you're comfortable around them. Keep in mind, the moon is exalted in Taurus. So it's like, due to the memory and the history and how long you know that person and the reason why you value, love, and appreciate them, or how they make you feel from you being around them and stuff like that, you're going to keep on holding on to that. You're going to keep on holding on to the pleasurable things, the higher values behind why you're so attached to that person. Why you feel, oh, nah, I can keep on making this thing abundant. No, that shit dead. So you need to transform, you need to change, and you need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to transform, you need to change and fixate on something else for the most part, so you can grow something else. So you can bloom and germinate and plant different seeds somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Taurus is that, man, they ain't trying to hear that shit. So just in general, right, that's the thing you're overcompensating for. You start acting out when it comes to being stable and secure because you don't feel stable and you don't feel secure, and you don't like people seeing that. You don't like when people know when you're not stable and why you're not secure and stuff like that. Because all earth signs, they still have feelings and they still deal with emotions. It's just the way they deal with feelings and deal with emotions is they try to stabilize and secure them. And if they don't feel stable or secure or have some type of self-esteem inside, man, y'all ain't trying to see that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they in general, right, they start to overcompensate and trying to appear like they're that, but in reality they really not that. They really don't like themselves. They know they feel dead inside. They know they don't feel as youthful as they used to be and stuff like that. They know they need to change. They know they need to transform. They know they need to go into some arena that's more unseen or hidden or something that they're unaware about, but they be in that stagnant, stuck energy of trying to maintain those same things that already got you know what I'm saying? Those things that already accumulated. Oh, if I keep on trying to make this thing grow because it worked before, so I'm gonna just keep doing this thing. But you need to realize, no, you need to ground yourself on something else so you can be more relatable, or you can find other values and other things, and then you end up changing yourself and putting yourself in different arenas and areas you probably didn't even realize that you actually give a fuck about. You end up realizing, oh, I do value this. Oh, damn, I was able to plant a seed in this arena, and I was even into this at first until I actually tried to find out what this is. And I was in the dark about it at one point, but now I'm actually stable about the thing that I'm in the dark about, and now I'm in the light. Now I know about it. I started to brighten up that area that looked scary, or it looked taboo, or it looked spooky, or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so next one, Scorpio. Scorpio, overtly holding on to chaos over order to destroy, oppose, or put things through a death to negate any sense of higher values, growth, and abundance. So from Scorpio being a fixed water sign, they like to be fixated on their own way when it comes to dealing with their emotions and feelings. And they're basically going to be stuck in their ways, stubborn and stubborn about that emotion and feeling. And based upon it's better supported by the 8th house and stuff like that, right? It's going to deal with the behind the scenes realm, the dark realm, things dealing with hidden intentions or hidden motivations or hidden psyops and hidden agendas and stuff like that. Things that are considered taboo, things dealing with the unseen or mysticism, or things that are like, you know what I'm saying? Things they're basically like mysterious or in the dark about for the most part. So that's why they get that gothic type of energy label put on them, or that sexual type of energy thrown on them and stuff like that. Even though Tauruses and Scorpios both play out that energy, but it's just Scorpios, they like to play that out in reality because they're a fall time type of sign. So they're going to try to make that fall from grace. They actually want to make that play out in reality, and they end up being stuck in that root chakra energy because the root chakra deals with the dick and balls and the pussy and the ovaries and stuff like that. So they actually want to play that out, which makes them over-sexualize things when it comes to reality. And Taurus is ruling the second house and the neck and stuff like that. They like to do that when it comes to like the neck area. So look at that as like the throat chakra, communicating, planting seeds, being comfortable, stabilizing it. You know what I'm saying? Taking things that are below the horizon, which is Scorpio shit, and making it above the horizon. But that's really a different video. But just in general, right, when it comes to Scorpio, Scorpios in general, right, they gonna make that thing fall. So they'll rather choose evil or something that's taboo or something that's opposing, or choosing chaos over order. They would rather destroy, oppose, or put things through a death instead of actually trying to fix their issues, actually trying to find some type of higher value and stuff like that. They rather stick to transformation and change and stuff like that. But look at that as them dealing with not knowing how to transmute energy. They rather stay stuck in death and stuff like that because, again, it's a fixed water sign, and it's the fixed portion of fall time. So they like being fixated on falling. They like being fixated on their downfalls and stuff like that. They like being fixated on death. So from them being fixated on death and stuff like that, right? Like DEATH and stuff like that, right? They like to be deep, but they like to stay deep, like in the deep waters. They never want to come up for air and come to the surface, like cancers and stuff like that, and trying to initiate and create some new type of wave and things of that nature, right? They like to stay under the water. They like to, you know what I'm saying, like the deep sea. They don't want to come to the surface. They don't want to come up for air. And the reason they overcompensating for that is because they don't know how. They don't know how to come up for air. They don't know how to be abundant. They don't know how to go for a higher value. They don't know how to grow. They rather just stay in hell, in a sense. They don't want to come to the esoteric heaven. They want to stay in the esoteric hell. They want to stay in the spiritual hell pocket and stuff like that. They want to stay in the dead world, the underworld, Hades, and shit like that. They want to stay with Satan and Abaddon. They would rather choose chaos, and they're overcompensating because they don't know how. Like, they acting out in an extreme because in reality, they really do want to come up for air. They really do want to be abundant. They really do want to have some type of higher self-esteem, higher value. They really do want to be lovable. They really don't want to be in that hater type of energy, but they don't know how. So that's why they acting out in an extreme. And that's what happens when you're unbalanced when it comes to Scorpio and shit like that. Y'all just some bitch ass niggas and pull them down. So, oh God, bro, bro, like it be on something like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sting your ass. Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring your ass to hell right with me. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Nigga, you ain't shit. You ain't shit. Yo, these niggas are crazy. They be like, nah, nigga, you ain't shit. I'm bringing your ass right down with me, right to hell and shit like that. No, bro, you think you better than us and stuff like that, man? I'm gonna show your ass, man. You ain't shit, bitch. Man, give me all your money. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna rob all your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, these niggas is hell. No, like literally though, they walking hell. They walking hell. The only motherfuckers who probably don't hate like that. The only motherfuckers who could probably compete is goddamn Aquariuses and stuff like that. But I'm gonna get there, though. I'm gonna get there. Yo, they ain't shit. Scorpios ain't shit. Bruh, the minute they start acting all opposing and all that tight energy, and then it be on some destroy, build, destroy, you gonna destroy just the, bruh, it be like some destroy, build, destroy type of energy. They gonna build something up just to destroy it on purpose, though. No, like, they intentionally do that type of shit, because again, it's still ruled by Mars and stuff like that. So that first intent is just that first intent turning into separation, but the lower regions, the root chakra, you know what I'm saying, like the lower octave version of the intentions and the overall outlook, what it leads to after the fact. So it turns into, oh yeah, low hanging fruit, not high hanging fruit like Taurus and stuff like that. Something that's everlasting and is eternal, is gonna last a long time. They're like, no, I'm gonna focus on this low hanging fruit and I'm gonna keep bringing your ass down, bitch. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never gonna get up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never gonna let your ass get up. I'm gonna always make sure anytime you try to be in a high position, nah, bitch ass nigga, stay your ass down. You ain't shit, crab in a barrel. You gonna be right here with me, bitch. Oh God, like that's Scorpios ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit. Anyway, Gemini, overthinking, intellectualizing, analyzing, and communicating about things you are familiar with to drive talking points, but lack faith, belief, and vision to make more expansive. So from Gemini being a mutable air sign is you being mutable, adaptable, changeable, and flexible when it comes to your own and other people's ways when it comes to thinking and communicating. And it's better supported by the third house, which deals with familiarity or dealing with your local surroundings and environment. So look at that as, oh, close friends, close neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Your local area of where you live at and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like your local city. So it's not too far out and stuff like that. And keep in mind, don't even get lost into physical examples. You have to look at these things like different mentalities for the most part. So it's like, because again, there's still internal energies and stuff like that. It's just I'm using external world examples. So I'll be like close friends and local arenas and areas and stuff like that. Okay, look at that as like an idea that you're familiar with. So considering you're familiar with that knowledge or that awareness and stuff like that, oh, you're going to utilize it because you're already aware about it. And the Sagittarius type of energy is more long distance travel. So it's thoughts and ideas, feelings and emotions that are distant from you, that you're not as aware about, but you're trying to go the distance with it. You're trying to expand on it. So you're trying to see how far that could go and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like once you start looking at it like that, everything start being like, oh shit, oh that's deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Even though you can use external examples and stuff like that. And I'm going to get there. I'm literally about to explain Sag in a second. But like, yeah. But again, yeah, Gemini, it being mutable, adaptable, changeable with their own and other people's ways when it comes to thinking and communicating. From it being mutable, you always going to be thinking more open-minded for the most part. I like to look at mutable signs like open-minded, like, oh, they're going to think about themselves, but they're also going to think about others too, though. So from it being a springtime type sign, they like to germinate a seed to try to spring new talking points, new ways of thinking, new ways of communicating and stuff like that, new type of intellect, new type of analyzing, new type of, you know what I'm saying? Like all that, right? Now, once it starts to go into the unbalanced portion of them acting out in a extreme, and they're overcompensating because they lack the Sagittarius type of energy, it leads to overthinking, over-intellectualizing, over-analyzing, overly talking and communicating. You just fucking yapping, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you're yapping, but you're yapping for no reason. See, I can speak on this guy. I got a Gemini stellium, but I got triple Earth though, so it kind of make me practicalize what I'm thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm yapping, it's like I'm not yapping for no reason. Like there is some grounding, some type of common sense behind it. There is some type of I'm putting something into practice. I want to see how this makes sense in reality behind it. So yeah, I can be yapping, I can talk a lot, and I can go and talk about the conversation for a long period of time and stuff like that, and go on and on and on. But I'm gonna get to a conclusion though. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna manifest something, manifest and materialize something. I'm gonna make it grounded though. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make it deal with reality though. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make it stable though, especially because I'm a Taurus. I'm gonna make it stable. I'm gonna make it secure. I ain't just talking just to talk. I can talk though for a long ass time, but I ain't just saying shit just to say shit. You know what I'm saying? There is a reason why I'm saying it, and I add a lot of value behind it. So I do actually value about what I'm talking about. For the most part, compared to a Gemini, they could just be talking just to be talking and shit like that. And then they got their mutable signs, so sometimes they be taking on other people's talking points and other people's ways of thinking, and they ain't really thinking for themselves, and then they'll confuse the two. They'll be thinking, oh, they came up with the idea. No, you got that idea from someone else, and then you try to relay it like it was your idea because you kept on thinking about it. Shit like that. Because Geminis be thinking in like they'll think about something, and then they'll think about 5 different things that deal with that original thought and idea that they had, and then it start to go into a whole tree branch of a whole bunch of different thoughts and ideas. And if they don't know how to calm down all that mind chatter and meditate and know how to do things in moderation and stuff like that, they be all over the goddamn place. Same thing with all mutable signs. They just all do it in different ways. Geminis just do that shit with the mind. They mind be all over the place. That's the problem. But just in general, right? Yeah. Overthinking, intellectualizing, analyzing, and communicating about things you are familiar with to drive talking points, but you lack faith, belief, and vision to make them more expansive. So you're overcompensating and you're saying good talking points, but you're really just yapping because you lack the vision, you lack the foresight, you lack intuition, or you lack seeing it a different way, which leads to you expanding on it. So it leads to more experience, just in general, all the way down to physical experience, even though experiences are mental first. But like, yeah, it leads to all the way down to actual experience. Like, oh, you experienced that in real life, so you can see how it is. And you know what I'm saying, you can see it to believe it, and you know how it feels to be in the moment of what it's like to experience that. And then the lighter scale of that would be like spiritual or mental experiences. Oh, you actually put yourself in that state of being, in that space of what it would be like if you did that, but you're not just thinking about it, you actually try to feel it though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be like that more fiery or water type of energy, because they're both internal type of signs. They're both yin signs. So you like be in it for real. You know what I'm saying? Like you actually be in that emotion and feeling of how it would be like if you actually did do that. Even though it didn't happen in reality, you able to see it though. You got the vision, you got the foresight, you got the intuition. You know how it feels to actually do that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't just thinking about it and try to practicalize it in some way, shape, or form. So look at that as a monetary gain, or you're trying to materialize it, but you ain't trying to add the passion to it. You just want to do things all cutthroat and dry and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You just want to put out a talking point or an ideology, but what's the meaning and reasoning behind why you think like that? And then it's going to go into that Sag energy, but because you lack it, it just leads to you overthinking, over-intellectualizing, over-analyzing, overly communicating and yapping about it because you're familiar with it, but you lack the drive though. You lack the faith, the feeling, the seeing, the vision, the belief, and stuff like that. The meaning and reasoning, the higher purpose of why you actually care about thinking about it in the first place. So yeah. Sagittarius, extreme know-it-all, preacher-teacher energy that comes off broad, but is really small / closed-minded, knowledge and wisdom, which leads to misinformation and a drought of logic and rationality, just in general. So that's why Sagittarius, they be slow as hell and shit, because it's a fall type sign for one. So And on top of that, it's a mutable fire sign. So being mutable, adaptable, changeable to their own and other people's ways when it comes to seeing and feeling based upon visions, burn through reality, intuition, all that jazz. So just in general, right? It leads to misinformation and a drought of logic and rationality. So they lack intellect because they lack logic behind it. Like they lack analyzing. They lack being more informed and stuff like that. They the type of people once they go through that extreme because they lack that Gemini type of energy and they don't try to get more familiar with it. They're the type of people to be like how pastors be like in that preacher teacher energy talking about God like Christians and stuff like that, but really they're like a charlatan. Like you know how to say the right words, not even say the right words. That's actually wrong. Geminis know how to say the right words. Sagittarius is they know how to say the right feelings. Like you know what I'm saying? They know how to be in that feeling of what it feels like to praise God and stuff like that, and shit like and things of that nature. If they was on a preacher teacher totem pole and stuff like that, a Gemini they'll just say the right talking points. They'll say the right words, but they lack the faith and belief in the feeling. Sagittarius they got all the feelings and charisma and expressions. So just in general, from them having more of the intuition or knowing how it feels, they can come off in a sentiment to where you can feel them, but then when you actually analyze what they're actually saying, you like that don't make no fucking sense. Like that don't make no logical sense. You sound like super misinformed. You sound like you lack intellect. Like it sound like you're not even thinking about what you're saying for real. You're just putting a sentiment of you want people to feel a certain way about it, but then once you actually analyze what they're saying, they sound dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like it sounds like you're not even thinking about what you're saying for real. And then on top of that, once they act in an extreme, they'll be in an energy of, oh yeah, this is broad, this is expensive, this is really philosophical and things of that nature. Because, you know what I'm saying, Sagittarius is ninth house, all that type of stuff. They love philosophy, they love God, aka all possibilities. They love expanding on things, right? But they don't know how to condense it, put it into a container. It's like what I was saying earlier. I forgot what time I said that. But like, it's like they don't like to put it into, they don't like going through the contracting energy, the containing energy. They be in that optimism type of energy all the time and stuff like that. Oh, I'm aiming high. I'm trying to be broad and stuff like that. They don't want to go through the mechanism in its entirety. You don't like to go through the depression. You don't like to go through the compression. You don't like to go through the materializing. You don't like to go through the container, condensity. You ain't trying to make things closed in for the most part. You ain't trying to make things make sense. You're not trying to intellectualize it. You're not trying to add logic behind it. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to say the right talking points and the right words so it can add to that feeling. You only want to talk about the feeling and how you see it, but you can't see it beyond just that though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a play on itself. So you think it's really you being broad and you being expansive, or you showing some type of escapism, not escapism like you getting lost into a fantasy, like escapism as, oh, you can find another shape and form to where you don't utilize something as a mental crutch, and you was able to expand or escape out the situation and things of that nature, right? It's really not that. No, you're still stuck into a mental jail cell and stuff like that because you didn't really intellectualize it. You didn't really analyze what you were saying. You not even thinking about it in the right way and stuff like that. You just know how to be in the sentiment of making people feel a certain way about it, but you ain't thinking though. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't saying the right words and stuff like that. So you just sound retarded. You just sound dumb. You said the wrong thing at the wrong time type shit. Like yeah. So a motherfucker could sit there, they can feel what you're saying, but then they start actually analyzing what you're saying. You like, but what are you saying though? Like I feel the energy. What are you trying to say though? You know what I'm saying? Like add some logic, motherfucker. Like, oh God, like add some construction, add some better building blocks and stuff like that. You can keep expanding and keep on going on your long ass rant and lecture and philosophy point all day in your ideology. Okay, what's the idea and how can we think about it better? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the actual ideology? Like, okay, I get your ideology. What's the actual ideology though? Like, are you actually like articulating it in the right way though? Like are you actually trying to make it make sense? Can we put it in a book? Like are you going to scream and shout about how much God is helping you see these visions and stuff like that? Okay, yeah, I can see what you mean, But can you make it like practical though? Like can you make it deal with reality though? It just sounds like you got your goddamn mind and stuff like that, and you think white Jesus about to come back. You know what I'm saying? Walk on water if you believe it hard enough. like that's how they think. Like if I believe it hard enough, it's actually gonna be that. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Like what the fuck? Oh God. All right, next one. Cancer. Being extremely bitchy, needy, and moody, which leaves your soft spot exposed and makes you look like a crybaby over not having a sufficient comfort zone, which leads to a lack of discipline, structure, or business to attend to. So just in general, right? From Cancer being you know what I'm saying, it's ruled by the moon. It's gonna be dealing with emotions and feelings and reactions and yeah, emotions and feelings, reactions, and your moods and comfort zones and stuff like that, nurturing, caring type of energy, and it's a cardinal water sign, so initiating and creating new ways when it comes to dealing with the emotions and feelings. So you like to soak into these things. So it's the internal realm, the yin realm, but you like to receive things in the internal realm. So you like to receive things based upon the sentiment that you in, based upon that emotion and that feeling. You like to receive and soak into that emotion and feeling more, for the most part. So you like to internalize things and keep it inside. You never externalize it. You never express it. You never expand it. You never expound on it. You never escape from it. You just want to soak into that emotion and feeling, and you want to feel nothing else for the most part. Like, and then when you act out in the extreme based upon it being a cardinal water sign and stuff like that, okay, you're going to be extremely moody because you just want to stay in that mood. You want to stay in that comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? Extremely bitchy, extremely needy, extremely moody. So it just leaves your soft spot exposed. And you know what I'm saying? So it's the epitome of like you wear your heart on your sleeve and stuff like that, and you just crying because you don't have no sufficient comfort zone and stuff like that. Like your comfort zone is having an insufficient comfort zone, and we can see you don't have a sufficient comfort zone and stuff like that. And then, especially because it's dealing with Cancer, so it's going to be something that's closer to the heart and the home and things that are close to you, right? The minute you're outside your comfort zone, or you're like, especially if you in public and things of that nature, you're outside the privacy of your own home and stuff like that, esoterically, right? You're just going to show, oh, you lack structure, you lack discipline, you don't know how to mind your fucking business and stuff like that. So you just start acting out and acting crazy and stuff like that, and acting extreme of whatever mood that you in, because you can't control your waters, you can't control your moods, you can't control your emotions. They all over the goddamn place. So boom, Capricorn. Capricorn is overcompensating through your status, successes, career, or what you're publicly known for because you lack comfortability, privacy, or feeling at home / having a safe haven anywhere else. So for the most part, right, it's a cardinal earth sign. So initiating creating new ways when it comes to thinking and practicalizing, which deals with materializing. So a new ground basis, some new type of business, some new type of structure, some new type of discipline for the most part, right? And based upon that discipline, it causes boundary, restriction, and limits. You get caught up within the boundary, restriction, and limits, because the only reason you're disciplined like that is because you'll put a boundary, restriction, and limit about certain things that you don't want to pay attention to because you're trying to build and construct this business. Now, from it being a wintertime type of sign, right, that's when it's cold and it's freezing. So you like to stay into things that are cold, so you're cold at that ability. You know what I'm saying? But from it being cold, that's like someone acting distant from you and stuff like that. So the same way how it's like distance between me and you, I don't know what you're thinking about and things of that nature. You can keep that thought to yourself and a distance from me, so I can't tell unless I'm an empath or I got good intuition. I could probably pick up certain body language and all that type shit and be psychic and stuff like that. But just me doing that take a whole bunch of effort. So just in general, right, they like to act restrictive and have that restraint because they don't want to show whatever emotion and feeling they don't want to deal with, but it's because they're overcompensating because they don't know how to deal with emotions. That's what they're overcompensating about. So like with Cancers, the thing they're overcompensating about is the fact they lack structure, they lack discipline, they lack materializing things for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like grounding things. Even if you have a lot of money and stuff like that, because I know motherfuckers gonna say that. Even if you have a lot of money and stuff like that and you're a Cancer, I mean grounding things. Like you don't know how to ground yourself into a certain emotion and feeling in mood or vibe without that money. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know how to do things from a ground basis. Like you're doing it mentally first. Like you can't ground yourself into something new. You rather want to stay in the comfort zone of what you already inside internally dealing with and stuff like that. But it just leads to you overcompensating with the fact of, oh, you can't discipline or structure your life into a new type of business or a new type of comfort zone or a new type of structure or a new type of esoteric building and stuff like that. So anytime you're trying to build or construct something, it's going to end up falling down because your ass end up destroying everything, because you going to push your water wave into some great flood like the Bible in Genesis and all that type of shit. Like, oh God, like, and then with Capricorn, you're trying to utilize, because it's still an earth sign, so you're gonna try to use things from the external world that you can receive from, right? So based upon you getting more lost into that, you never deal with your internal natures. You never actually deal with your emotions and feelings. You never actually try to have a private life. You know what I'm saying? You never feel at home anywhere because you're used to not being at home. Used to dealing with the public or dealing with your career and stuff like that, or dealing with being seen in a certain light based upon your status and stuff like that, and some type of CEO or some shit like that, some type of business matter. So you're overcompensating and you get more lost into that because you actually don't have no comfort zone and stuff like that. And then anytime you try to make a home into something, a motherfucker start feeling uncomfortable and stuff like that. And it don't matter how, really all earth signs, it don't matter how much money you throw it down, how many whips you buy them, how much fucking you pay for their hair and their nails and stuff like that, and them going on different vacations and things of that nature, they ain't gonna feel comfortable around you. They ain't gonna feel at home around you. You don't give a homey vibe. You come off dry. You come off like you don't even want to deal with your own emotions and feelings a lot of the time. Now, Leo being very ego-driven characteristics, expressions, and actions towards your associations and strangers you don't know like that, because deep down, you know without them giving you praise and validation, you wouldn't even act like that. So, for the most part, right, it being ruled by the sun. So, dealing with your actions and dealing with, dealing with your solar plexus, your individuality, your actions, how you want to be seen. So, it being based upon that. And it being better supported by the fifth house, but I already explained that. Expressions, entertainment, acting out in a certain character, being in your inner child, youthful type of energies, but you're being lively, you being enthusiastic, you're trying to bring it to life for the most part. And then it being a summertime type of sign. So you actually bringing life, or you acting lively, or you being outside during that time and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what motherfuckers do during the summertime, like vacations. Oh, that's when and then on top of that, it's the fixated portion of summer, so it's the most hottest time of the year and things of that nature. So things being hot, enticing, spicy, because it's a fixed fire sign, being fixated in your own way when it comes to seeing and feeling. So dealing with burnt through reality and intuition and expressions and like spontaneous type of energy and like visions and seeing it a certain way, but you're being fixated into that one character, that one expression, that one mannerism and stuff like that, that one type of entertainment, and it's up and it's stuck. So you always gonna try to attention seek and do it in that same way over and over. I should have added that too and stuff like that. Yeah, very ego driven characteristic expressions and actions towards being attention seeking, dealing with your associations and strangers you don't know like that, because deep down you know without that praise and validation, because that's their whole thing, pride, not shooting down their ego, praise, validation, you would even act like that around those type of people that are distant from you. Don't look at associations like people and stuff like that, even though that's a good example, right? Don't look at it as just people. Look at it like thoughts and ideas that you're associated with, you're unknown and unfamiliar about, right? The only reason you're acting out in that way, or you're trying to gain attention in that way, you're trying to be seen in that way, is based upon some me ego type of energy and stuff like that. You wouldn't even act in that way of seeing and feeling if you wasn't getting that praise, if you wasn't getting validated from you trying to attention seek like that. So you're overcompensating for the fact of, oh, you're just an attention seeker. But that's the thing though, you're seeking attention, so you're trying to find it. You shouldn't be in that finding type of energy. That means you lost. That means you're trying to find something and you feel like you lack it for the most part. So if you're always in that, oh, I'm trying to seek it, I'm trying to find it, that means you're not trying to actually naturally just be yourself and stuff like that. You're trying to find a specific way of how to do it instead of just expressing and being yourself in that sentiment, being in that expression, being in that space, being in that arena for the most part. You ain't trying to do something natural. You're trying to do it in a real specific way, and you think, oh, I can only express myself in this way because it's going to get me a lot of attention and stuff like that, and all attention is good attention, when really is not that, because you want it to be seen in a really specific way, which isn't even good for the most part. You actually ain't being that expressive. You actually ain't being that entertaining. You ain't actually being that spontaneous, because you're only doing it based upon the pretenses of a bias of doing it in a very specific way, because you're going to get what? Praise and validation for it, which add on to your ego. But if someone wasn't giving it to you, you would even act like that in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So if people stop giving a fuck about it, you're going to lose that motivation. You're going to lose that action. You're going to lose trying to be seen that way. And then you're going to start overcompensating. Oh, let me do it at an extreme. I'm going to do it more, because it's still fixated energy. You're going to be stubborn about it. I'm going to do this shit more. No, you gotta pay attention to me. No, I want the spotlight. No, I want to shine. I want to be seen in this way and stuff like that. And then you get shown, no, you being outdated and your act is trash. That joke ain't as funny no more. Find something else. Find something else. Find God, nigga. Find another creative way of how to do it if you so creative and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, your narc energy ain't gonna help you and stuff like that. If you want to be the narc and you think you God of the universe, okay, you make the universe. You can't do it. You can't do it. You teamwork with the gym work. It's a unified verse. It's a collective conscious and stuff like that. No, we collectively make the world what it is. Not, oh, we all stuck up in your world and your atmosphere and your realm and your light and stuff like that. No, motherfucker. We don't gotta pay attention to it, and then you can get lost into the light and illusion and crash yourself out. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, Aquarius. Overtly using what you are unfamiliar with for rebellious, radical, and revolutionary energies, so you can be the only individual expressing yourself in that form of a structure or discipline. So it being ruled by Saturn, so dealing with reality, boundary, restriction, and limits, and structuring and discipline, and going hard about something, and also being ruled by Uranus, so radical change, rebellion, but also leads to unique difference in originality. But I'm not going to talk about the positives right now, right? We only talk about the negatives. So based upon you not balancing that opposite energy of you building on the Leo type of energy, right? You're overcompensating for what you're unfamiliar with. So it's cold, dead, and distant, because it's still a wintertime type sign. So from it being cold, dead, distance, and stuff like that, right? You end up caring about things you're unfamiliar with. Look at that, like the public arena, your associations, people who you don't know like that, who you're not that close with. You end up coming off in a sentiment of being opposing, being radical, causing a lot of drastic change and things of that nature, right? And being super opposing. But the only reason you're acting like that is so you can be the only one expressing yourself in that sentiment, because you lack the expressive type of energy to where you can shed your light, but it's a relatable warmth type of light for the most part. That Leo type of energy of charisma and, oh, he can be the walking example, he could be the star and stuff like that. No, Aquarius, once it's overcompensating about something, they're gonna act radical and rebellious, so they can be the only one in their associations who act in that energy and stuff like that. So anybody they associate around and stuff like that, they're gonna act like they cool with all these different types of peoples of many different walks of life and stuff like that. But in every single association that they with and stuff like that, they all talk about them the same way. Oh, this motherfucker being like this weird ass ego. Even though I know y'all be throwing that, because you know what I'm saying, because the sun is fucking the sun is fucking, I think it's in detriment or debilitated, something like that. It falls. The sun falls in Aquarius and stuff like that. So it come off like, oh, they don't like being the active one and stuff like that. They don't like to be in the proactive one and being seen a certain way because of this, that, and the third. They rather be in the background and stuff like that. Even though that adds on to it, right? Once they overcompensate, it's really they're trying to purposely oppose. They're trying to purposely be radical. They're purposely trying to act weird, alien-like, abstract. You know what I'm saying? They're purposely trying to act outside the box and stuff like that. And that's the thing they get known for, being outside the box, around a box of different people. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm basically trying to say they try to act outside the box, but from them trying to act outside the box, you're still in the fucking box. You're just outside that arena when it comes to what everyone else is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that's the thing you're known for in general. You think you being outside the box. No, you're still in the box. You're just the only motherfucker who trying so hard to be outside the box, but you still in it. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna come off like, oh yeah, I'm the revolutionary and stuff like that. Nigga, I change shit up. Oh yeah, I'm the one who's the most unique. I'm the nigga who the most alien-like. I'm the nigga who the most abstract, because it's a fixed air sign. So they like to be fixated on their own way when it comes to thinking and communicating. And it's about supported by their 11th house. So they like to make their individuality dualistic. So they know how to be an individual, but they also know how to be an individual around other individuals for the most part. So it's like you try to be outside the box, but you're still in the box. You just think in your mind you outside the box because you try to be fixated of your own way when it comes to thinking and communicating. So you think you're being unique, you think you're being radical, you think you're being revolutionary, you think you changing shit up. You know what I'm saying? You think you change like the whole like, you know what I'm saying? You think things are you know what I'm saying? Like the gears are turning. Like you think you making the whole system change. You think you're going against tradition and stuff like that. You think you doing this, you doing that. No, yeah, you just thinking though. You're just thinking. That's it. You're just overthinking about it for the most part. You think you're doing that, but no, you're still in it. Bitch. You're just the only motherfucker who's trying to knock down the door. You just can't knock down that goddamn door. You still in the box, bitch. Oh, God. That's a moon next. Virgo. Worrying about the devil in the details, which causes you to be nerve-wracking, stressed out, and overly critical, which breeds unhealthy habits and patterns about the whole collection of work itself. So it's about Mercury, which again, it deals with thinking, communicating, thinking, communicating, articulation, analyzing information, and from it being into that sentiment, it's also a mutable earth sign. So being mutable, adaptable, changeable with your own and other people's ways when it comes to thinking and practicalizing or materializing. So from them being mutable with their own way of thinking and communicating and materializing, right? They like to put things into practice based upon the 6th house. Schedule, routine, practice, health, doing things in moderation. So it leads to all the way down to the nerves and stuff like that. So yeah, like once they start to overcompensate about not trying to balance out the opposite energy, which is really just Pisces, right? You end up worrying about the devil in the details, which causes you to be nerve-wracking, stressed out, and overly critical, which breeds unhealthy habits and patterns about the whole collection of the work itself. So you end up working on your stresses. You end up working on your nerves. You know what I'm saying? To the point you start working on everyone else's nerves and stuff like that, because it's still a mutable sign. So you always be thinking and practicalizing about what you're doing and what other people are doing. So if they're not doing it in a very particular way and stuff like that, you start getting on the ass and stressing themselves and stressing them out. But the only reason you stressing their ass out is because you're stressing your own self out, because you want it done in a super particular way. Oh, you want things to be perfect and stuff like that. When in reality, if you want to save that energy, you need to be perfectly imperfect and stuff like that, because ain't nobody perfect. But that's the thing that makes us perfect, being perfectly imperfect. But you don't want to do the imperfect part. You just like, nah, bitch, it's just perfect. It's my particular way of how to do it, and I'm gonna be of service, and I'm gonna show your ass how this shit gonna be perfect. And I'm gonna compartmentalize and put this esoteric schedule planner in your mind and stuff like that, and you gonna do it just like this, like some Michael Jackson shit. No, I have to keep performing, I have to keep doing it like this. I ain't do this shit perfect, nigga. I ain't hit that moonwalk like this. I ain't hit that hee like this. You know what I'm saying? I ain't hit that spin move like this. I ain't do the robot like this. I ain't hit that vocal note like this. I ain't do it perfect. I have to keep trying. I'm gonna keep going, and to the point I end up getting plastic surgery because I don't like my goddamn self and stuff like that, because I ain't perfect, bitch. I gotta be the superstar. I gotta do that. I gotta yeah. You end up caring about what other people's opinions about. Really, all mutable signs, you end up caring about what other people think too much, for the most part. So from it being the whole collection of work itself, it's just the whole process. So it's like the 12th house type of energy. But I'm gonna get into that. Pisces right now, right? Pisces being extremely, and that's the last one, being extremely delusional, doubtful, and unfaithful, which leads towards self-undoing and poor escapism tactics due to getting caught up in between the whole mechanism and process as a whole, which causes you to go even harder about it in moderation. Now, it being ruled by the 12th house, which basically deals with you know what I'm saying? It basically deals with hidden enemies, hidden fears, hidden imaginations, hidden dreams, right? And also ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. So Neptune dealing with dream, imagination, illusions, fantasy, intuitive outlook. Jupiter dealing with knowledge, wisdom, expansion, contraction, higher meanings and reasonings, God, spirituality, things of that nature, faith, belief. So from it being in this archetype and sentiment, and then also it's a wintertime type sign. So like I was saying before, cold, dead, distant, right? It likes to freeze things and put it into a certain pocket of time so it can keep on reliving it over and over and over and stuff like that, right? So like from it being so cold and dead and distant, you end up caring about things that are distant from putting yourself first. So Pisces, they get caught up into the whole process and mechanism and stuff like that, because the first house is you putting yourself first and you being early and you being ahead of the game and stuff like that. So it goes through the first through the 12th house, and it's the 12th house, it's the last house. So it's the tail end of something, you know what I'm saying? It's the feet, it's the tail end of something. Your Aries is like the head, the brain, the birth, the spark. And then the 12th house is like, or like Pisces like energy, oh, the tail end of something, the conclusion, the resolution, okay, the solution, what does this lead to and stuff like that. Now the minute it start acting out in an extreme, right, they can't balance out the opposite energy, which is just Virgo. So they act in an extreme. So it is going to lead to extreme delusion, doubtfulness, unfaithfulness, self-undoing. You ain't worrying about yourself, so you end up undoing it. You know what I'm saying? So look at that as, on a lower octave, you not accomplishing your dreams. You not turning your illusions into your imagination. You get caught up in delusions. Delusions are just dying illusions for the most part. So things that are like temporary, they come and go, monetary gain and stuff like that. Okay, that illusion end up dying, but you want to stay in that fantasy forever and stuff like that. It, like Elsa Ice Castle and Frozen and all that type of shit. You want to keep that shit frozen and you want to keep being in that fantasy. And then it's a water sign. It's a mutable water sign. Being mutable, adaptable, and changeable to your own and other people's ways when it comes to dealing with the emotions and feelings based upon like I was saying before, Neptune like energies and Jupiter like energies for the most part. So you want to be frozen in that pocket of time and lost into your delusions and la la land all day and shit like that. And from you being lost into that energy, it leads to you being delusion and you being doubtful and unfaithful the minute it start to go outside of that. You know what I'm saying? Like the minute it start going outside that fantasy land that you in and stuff like that, that you can control and stay in Disney World all the time and frozen in that pocket of time and stuff like that, you start being doubtful about reality. You start being unfaithful about trusting yourself so you can actually get that spontaneous energy or gain some type of optimism or gain some type of faith or gain some type of expansion, knowledge, and wisdom, escape out that scenario, and you end up getting lost into it, escapism. And that's the negative end of escapism. Oh, you need a mental crutch. You need to utilize that escapism in that mental crutch because you don't know how to expand or escape out the situation, so you're going to stay within it. So you're going to keep using that thing as a mental crutch over and over and stuff like that because your ass delusional and you keep getting caught up in the whole process. That's why they be saying shit like, oh, Pisces know how to stay, Pisces know how to act out in the characteristics of all the zodiac signs and stuff like that. So it's the most spiritual. No, it's the least spiritual. It's the one that get lost into the external world the fastest. You want to know why? Because they get caught up in all the different processes and stuff like that. The minute it try to put itself first, aka Aries type of energy, right? The minute they try to put themselves first and do something early and try to be ahead of the game and stuff like that, right? They end up putting themselves last for the most part because they end up getting caught up in a mechanism. That's like boo-blahing yourself. You never ejaculate. You never finished. You never concluded. You never got to the end goal of what something was because you stayed. You know what I'm saying? You stayed not finishing it. Type shit. You stayed not finishing it. You stayed in that fantasy and stuff like that. You never actually tried to initiate and create new ways of how to see and feel about it. You never actually created it in the first place. You stayed in the tail end of something. You stayed in the conclusion. You stayed in the conclusion, but you never like finished it though. You know what I'm saying? Like you was right there and then you just stop. You get stuck in a pocket. You get stuck in an illusion type shit. The minute you try to put yourself first, you end up doing it in reverse and stuff like that. Oh, okay. So you in the 12th house, so that's like a dream and imagination. You try to do the dream and imagination, but then you get caught up in that 11th house type of shit. Oh, what's unknown or unfamiliar to you, the public arena and how you seen based upon your associations. You try to do that dream and imagination, you get caught up in that status. You get caught up in that career. You get caught up, you You get caught up in what you're known for. You try to do that driven imagination and creativity. You get caught up in that knowledge or wisdom. You get caught up in a belief. You get caught up in certain things you believe in. I mean, certain things you give faith to. You never try to expand or expound. You never try to do some long distance travel. Stuff like that. You never go outside your comfort zone and things of that nature. And then they go all the way up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You never try to clear up that hidden agenda, that hidden scenario. You never try to find about the shadow work, the dark side of yourself. You never try to deal with your relationships. You never try to do something in moderation. That 6 house type of energy. You never put it into schedule, pattern, routine, and shit. And then that's your opposite time. That's the thing that you lack just in general. You never try to find some new type of expression. You never try to find a comfort zone. Cancer, 4th house type of energy. You never you never try to get familiar with it. You never try to find some higher value. You never put yourself first. Aries. You never try to individualize it. You never try to personalize it. You end up doing that for somebody else and putting all that faith and belief and dream and imagination and willpower towards other people's ways of feeling, because you trying to be with the wave and you trying to be a part of what everyone got going on, and then you end up getting overabsorbed and you getting lost and you just getting washed out. You got washed out. You got washed up like on God. You got washed up, and that's the whole mechanism. That's it. On God, that shit went way longer than I thought. But yeah.